Okay. How y'all doing today, man? Hope y'all doing good, staying well, staying healthy, all that great stuff. And listen, about 2 to 3 weeks ago, we reacted to LeBron versus Jordan, the GOAT comparison. And that video did amazing. Okay, so thank you all for the amazing support, just liking the video, showing love in the comments, all that type of stuff. Cause that video got up there in views. It got up there. It got us more exposed into the YouTube world, and I just thank you all very much for that. So in the comment section, person told me to react to this video if I'm interested, and this is the simplest argument for Michael Jordan still being greater than LeBron James. Now this is an old video. This came out in 2018, so a lot has happened from that time to now. But I watched just the beginning part, and he was talking about in the beginning how he's comparing by the duration of Jordan's career. So basically Jordan's whole career was 15 seasons. LeBron, I think at that time, finished his 15th season, right? So taking those 15 seasons, who did more with what? You know what I'm saying? Who did more within that 15-year season? I know Jordan did many things during his 15-year career, but I'm really interested to see how much of a gap this is, bro. Cause last video had me kind of shook, man. I ain't going cap, you know what I'm saying? I still give credit where credit was due. I feel like the only thing that haunts LeBron is the Miami Heat. You know what I'm saying? What he did in Miami Heat. I want to see how much of a gap this is considering that. So 3, 2, 1, let's go. Oh boy. Now, don't associate with me with Nick Wright. I got nothing to do with what he said. I got nothing to do with what Nick Wright said. Well, hey, I am not co-signing this.
LeBron James is better at basketball than anyone I've ever seen.
Can't say that. That's see. No, okay. Nope. Nah, Nick Wright, I'm sorry, bro. But the way Michael Jordan plays the game of basketball, bro, my move and all that type of stuff, bro, the fluidity and all that type of stuff, I can't say that, dog. I cannot vividly see Michael Jordan and say there is someone better than basketball than him. I can't. I'm sorry, I just can't.
Period, point blank. And when you say, what did Jordan do better? It's a good question. Because the one thing people say is Jordan was a better scorer. Well, was he? Jordan for his career averaged exactly 3 more points per game than LeBron averaged. But he did it on more than 3 more shots per game. LeBron shoots a better percentage from 2, shoots a better percentage from 3. He is clearly the more versatile defender. LeBron James can guard 5 positions on the court.
Listening to Nick Wright talk about LeBron James, it hurts my head, to be honest. No, it's...
Also, shout out down to, okay, original link in the description. We've reacted to one of his videos before, probably like a year ago to Larry Bird. So, shout out to down to, okay.
Because I hate LeBron. No, it's not because I'm your typical run-of-the-mill old head who thinks Michael Jordan is Jesus, but it's because Nick says a lot of things that sound good when nobody on the panel takes the time to correct him on things he's clearly wrong or biased about.
Yeah. He went to a team that was not a playoff team and made him a champion. He left that team and they missed the playoffs.
So, you're just gonna ignore every other factor that led to Miami missing the playoffs that year? Alright, cool.
Yeah, like I said before, alright? Miami Heat, that was just like, Miami Heat had the chances, man, and they just, you feel what I'm saying? Cleveland's different from Miami Heat. You leave Miami Heat's still a good team. You know what I'm saying? Miami Heat can still hold their own. You leave Cleveland? Sorry.
I'm not about to have a roasting session of Nick Wright, and honestly, I'm not even going to take the time to correct everything he says because B-Sauls actually did a good enough job on that a while back. But what I am going to do is inject some simple but needed common sense into this whole MJ LeBron argument. This is really the simplest argument you're ever going to hear, and I don't know why it never comes up. Do you know what else never comes up? This awesome app that you've definitely never heard of that can help you get a front row seat to see players that haven't caught Michael Jordan yet. SeatGeek app pulls tickets from...
You smooth. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so let's wipe the board clean here. I'm just gonna show you some really simple concepts that involve logic and math. And on top of that, until we get to the end, I'm not even gonna mention championships once. I am gonna mention them, but by the time I do, I have a feeling they won't be necessary to cement what I've already said. There seems to be this group of people out there that just want rings to go away when comparing their favorite players. Every single day I see NBA Twitter trying to diminish the greatest thing you can accomplish as a superstar franchise player. So we're gonna play by that group's rules until the end, where I show how stupid that logic is. But for now, let's get started on this. Depending on when this video comes out, LeBron James is roughly 25 games away from completing his 15th year in the NBA. That's significant for this video because by that point, he will have played the same amount of seasons as Michael Jordan, giving them a nice and easy basis for comparison.
This is where I left off at. You know what I'm saying? So now, let's get it.
Of course, there's the fact that he's already played more total regular season games than him, and the fact that the remaining 25 games really aren't going to change anything I have to say. Starting from the top, Nick Wright had some snarky attitude about MJ being the better scorer than LeBron, and then he even questioned that because of MJ attempting 3 more shots per game in his career. Okay, well, I don't know much about math, but I don't need to know much to understand these basic numbers. The fact that LeBron hasn't finished his 15th season yet is pretty irrelevant here because he's almost an entire 2,000 points behind Jordan as we speak. Same amount time, more games played, and close to a 2,000 point difference. But that's not the best part about that. Do you know when Michael Jordan scored most 2,000 points? In the 11 seasons with the Chicago Bulls when he wasn't coming back from retirement or a broken foot. So if we do the math, do you know when Michael Jordan scored most of his 32,000 points? In the 11 seasons with the Chicago Bulls when he wasn't coming back from retirement or a broken foot. So if we do the math on that, in 11 seasons, Michael scored 28,412 points. That's very close to the total amount of points LeBron James has in 15 total seasons. And by the way, these are just numbers. This doesn't account for Michael being more technically sound, having better footwork, a better back-to-basket game, a better mid-range game, having mastered the fadeaway. Oh, and I also purposely waited until the end to remind you that Jordan is a 10-time scoring champion. LeBron won the scoring title once. Jordan's best scoring year was 37 points a game compared to LeBron's 31. This was a regular-sized NBA player that almost averaged 40 a game in the era that you all like to call quote-unquote real basketball. So you know what, I don't think anybody except Nick Wright was even questioning Michael being the better scorer. If you want to side with him because you think Michael attempting 3 more shots a game accounts for everything I just laid out, then be my guest, but I'm marking this one off. Oh, and a side note before I leave this area for good. For those of you that are going to use the field goal percentage argument Nick Wright set you up to fail with, which I am going to touch on a little bit more later, check out where most of LeBron James' attempts have come from in his career. Every single season, his leading metric by far is from 0 to 3 feet away from the basket. Unfortunately, this data for Michael Jordan doesn't exist outside of his Wizard seasons, but I don't think it needs to exist for you to know MJ didn't barrel into the paint as much as LeBron James given the size difference. Given that you'd probably know that, this 0.6 of a percentage point that separates their career field goal percentage shouldn't mean jack shit. And the fact that I've heard Nick Wright just try to gloss over this like LeBron was just so much more efficient than Jordan, again, those are just the things that hurt my head. Let's move on. Okay, so now
I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you're more efficient the closer you are to the basket. So
we're gonna get onto the topic of defense. Mr. Wright actually did.
All right. I can't even cap too. You know, there's sometimes LeBron play defense, and he's a intelligent player, bro. Intelligent players, bro. Like he'll understand how a certain coach and the assistant coach that like his mind, the way his mind works is insane. But there are some times where no, I can't even say sometimes, but a good amount of times I can't call him a reliable defender. You feel what I'm saying? He could play defense, and I feel like he'll play defense when it ultimately matters for sure. But like Michael Jordan, and this has to do with also his Michael Jordan's competitive nature, because he's so competitive that it's not even like it can't be found nowhere. Like it was just his mentality. He was a competitive dude. Like he even said himself, he had a competitive problem. That's how competitive he was, that he admit that his competitiveness was a problem. So that being said, he's going to guard. Michael Jordan is going to lock up anyone that needs to be locked up. He has the ability to do whatever he pleases as a basketball player. Whatever he wants to get done as a basketball player, Michael can do that, bro. Michael can say, listen, from now on, for the next 2 quarters, you are not scoring anymore. And he will literally do that. I don't think LeBron has that same type of energy. But there's time when LeBron do clamp up.
I have a point about LeBron being a more versatile defender. I mean, he's bigger. His size has allowed him to guard real fours like Pau Gasol occasionally. Although, I don't think I've ever actually seen him take on a legitimate center for any good amount of time. All this talk about him guarding all 5 positions, but would you have wanted him down there with Dwight Howard in 2009? If DeMarcus Cousins was on fire, would you stick LeBron on him? Okay, wait. The whole 5 position thing, that's its own topic. Yes, LeBron is more versatile, and in today's small ball game, you could technically let him guard anyone in most situations. But how many times do we need to go over the facts that versatility does not equal better? Technically, Draymond Green is one of the league's most versatile players. He can guard almost any position, he can pass well, shoot the 3 ball, ruin your chances at parenthood. You can find more uses for Green than a lot of players that he's still not better than. So bringing it back to MJ and LeBron, I'm struggling with this for a few reasons. First off, Michael Jordan has a lot more steals than LeBron in the same amount of time.
He clamping. He is clamping up, bruh. Yeah.
2,514 versus 1,835. That gap is not closing before the season ends unless LeBron turns into LiAngelo Ball. So again, there's no need to wait and compare for that. Along with leading the league in scoring 10 times, Michael also led the league in steals 3 times. How many times did LeBron do that? None. Zip. 0. Michael has a defensive player of the...
Oh, he about to say that? Yeah, he about to say that. I was going to say he had defensive player of the year the same year he won MVP. Like, bro.
Year award. Let's check. Nope, LeBron doesn't have that.
Yeah.
Michael has 9 defensive first team selections. LeBron has 6. On top of everything I just said, LeBron is only 33 years old right now, and he's already quit playing defense as far as we can tell this season. So if we open up the good old basketball Bible and scroll down here, we can see that Michael actually made the defensive first team for every year that he played in the 90s, including when he was 34 years old in his last season with Chicago. So not only was he winning championships, not only was he winning scoring titles, but he was simultaneously playing both sides of the floor at a high level. Do you know how many passes we give today's superstars for not playing great defense because we know they're carrying an offense? Michael did both. There was no such thing as a Jordan-led squad being the worst defensive team in the league because the tone he set wouldn't allow it. I think I've said enough here. Also, if you're wondering about blocks, MJ currently has him by about 20, so it seems like LeBron is gonna either tie or pass him this season. I think that means we can call that stat a wash because there's not gonna be a margin where we can just flat out say someone was way better regardless of what happens. Of course, LeBron has his signature chase down block he was better at, but the numbers are gonna be pretty close there. So, to the point we're at now, we've established Michael as the clear better offensive player. You can go ahead and make a huge deal out of the 0.6 of a percentage point that separates their shooting if that's your cup of tea, but I don't think it's a strong argument, especially when you consider how many of those buckets were right at the rim because LeBron is a freight train. After all, he's so much bigger and stronger, right? If you're even gonna dare to question who the better scorer is, and LeBron is that much bigger and stronger, that field goal percentage shouldn't be that close. Plus, according to Nick Wright, it's such an important thing that Michael attempted 3 more shots a game than LeBron. So if Michael shot more and LeBron scores closer to the basket more, then why are you boasting a 0.6 of a percentage advantage in that category? We've also established that LeBron is the more versatile defender, but there's no way in the hell you can make a case that he was the better defender. There's gonna be more on that at the end, I promise. And if you look at the common statistical categories as a whole, this means the only thing you can clearly say LeBron James is better at is rebounds and assists. It's the only part of these major scorebox stats that LeBron just flat out did better than him. Just let that sink in for a moment. Listening to Nick Wright make blanket statements about LeBron being so much better at this and so much better at that, and I just laid everything out in front of you, and the ending result was that LeBron passes better than Jordan and he rebounds better than Jordan. If you consider the fact that LeBron is a freight train and that Michael Jordan is a shooting guard where playmaking isn't exactly in the job description, then doesn't it make sense that James is better at those things anyways? Let's keep going. Actually, before we do that, yeah, LeBron supposedly has more range than Jordan because he shoots 1.6% better from threes, but if you're a Nick Wright fan and agree with his logic so much, then let's do a little math on those 3-point attempts MJ never got to take. You know, since his 3-shot attempts per game was such a big deal. LeBron has taken more than twice as many 3-pointers as Michael in these same 15 years, and he's made barely 1,000 more. So Mike made 581 out of his 1,778 attempts. If you did the math to adjust for errors and gave Michael the green light to shoot 3-pointers like everyone else today, according to the percentage he shot, he would have ended up with around 1,452 3-pointers, which is barely less than what LeBron has right now. But if you listen to Nick Wright, he'll have you thinking that LeBron is just a superior shooter from there because his 3-pointers made are so much higher. It's all in the era, people. It's pretty simple. Players are taking way more 3-pointers today than they did even 10 years ago. And again, I'm just using Nick Wright's attempt logic. If you're going to start the question if Michael was the better scorer because he took 3 more shots a game and ended up not even 1 percentage point behind LeBron in efficiency, then I'm going to use that same logic on LeBron taking twice as many threes over his entire career. Comparing them up to their 15 seasons, Jordan has 5 MVPs, LeBron has 4. Unless James Harden gets abducted or the Monstars pop up and take his talents, LeBron won't match that this season, and I think this year was the best shot he was going to get at another MVP.
And it's tough too, because I feel like there was some, it's tough. There could have been a year LeBron could have won MVP, but got hold, you know what I'm saying, and didn't win. He probably should have won MVP. 2020, I felt like he should have won MVP, but Giannis won that one. So it's tough, and I feel like people probably argue on what years LeBron, should have got MVP. But at the same time, at the end of the day, Jordan got more MVPs than LeBron.
So check, but hang on a minute, I'm not done yet. Take note that I haven't said one thing about a quote-unquote team accomplishment yet. We're just going player for player right now, mano a mano, with an equal.
That's true.
Amount of years in the league, Jordan killed him in personal accomplishments. More points, more steals, more defensive accomplishments as a whole, more MVPs, and now I'm gonna dabble into something called killer instinct. I get that this isn't a tangible concept and it can't definitively be measured by anything, but I can't make this video without this next part. When we compare two greats, we have to compare their entire body of work no matter what they've done to redeem themselves. So take 2011 for example, because although you didn't want me to go there, I'm going there. But I'm not going to go there out of hate, I'm just going there to make a point. We can't crucify LeBron for it and use it as a reason to say he's a career choker, that he doesn't have killer instinct at all, because since 2011 he's done a crazy amount of things.
That's facts.
I've witnessed them firsthand. However, when we have a conversation like the one at hand, something like 2011 still has to be a part of the conversation because the information there is valuable. No matter what's happened since then, in this conversation, any meltdowns or no-shows are always going to be relevant. Again, I want to be perfectly clear here. LeBron James obliterated my Celtics in 2012. He led the charge on a comeback against the greatest team of all time. He was the best player in a series against the Spurs, who are one of the greatest organizations ever. LeBron has more than made up for 2011, and even with that, it's still gonna matter in a greatest of all time conversation. MJ is 6-0 in the finals, and you can't just write that off as a team accomplishment because unlike with LeBron, you've never heard of a tragic Jordan moment on that stage because it doesn't exist. All there was is greatness. 41 points a game on 50.
My bad, battery died on camera. Was recording too long. But yeah, let's get into this. I already knew I knew this was gonna be part of this conversation, man, with what LeBron did Mavericks. Can't say nothing about that for LeBron right there. You know what I'm saying? It was in their hands.
With LeBron, you've never heard of a tragic Jordan moment on that stage because it doesn't exist. All there was is greatness. 41 points a game on 50% shooting to go with 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals against the Suns in '93, the flu game against the Jazz, the epic steal on Malone, and his final shot with the Bulls. When you pull up Jordan's final resume, how he performed individually as the best player in the league on the biggest stage with the most pressure, all you find is him going above and beyond almost every single time. But unfortunately with LeBron, the same can't be said. Sure, he's had his amazing moments. Hell, even in a series like 2015 where he didn't win, even the fact that he made us think he could win was great. But that is never gonna change what I'm about to show you. I want you to hear something. It's something that you should never have to hear about a player as great as LeBron James, an insult to his legacy, but one that he allowed.
Magic, what do you expect from LeBron tonight? I want to see him, Stewart, have some fun. Get into his defense, because the key is, can he stop Jason Terry? Can he stop Jason Terry?
Can he stop Jason Terry?
Hey, I ain't gonna cap. Hey, that year, I was 11 years old. I was a kid watching the finals, bro. Only thing that's going through my head was, bro, who is this bald-headed dude, bro, with the headband? Because he's going stupid, bro. He's going ballistic. He going ballistic, bro. And that's all I remember, like, for like 4 years, from like 11 years old to like 15. I was like, oh, that was the bald-headed dude that went crazy. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Jason Terry, you know what I'm saying? Shout out Jason Terry. That's funny, you know what I'm saying? Jason Terry, bro. Dirk Nowitzki, bro. Let me see. How was their, where my phone? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm searching for my phone. I'm using it. Ooh-wee. Yup. One of those days, you know what I'm saying? Big respect to the Mavericks. Big respect to Dirk Nowitzki. And I got respect for Jason Terry, because he stepped up. You know what I'm saying? And he took over, bro. But yeah, man, you make fun of Dirk Nowitzki being sick and stuff. It's like, you asked for it, you know what I'm saying?
He stopped Jason Terry.
That's funny, though.
That is the most damaging thing to ever happen to LeBron's case against Michael. For those of you that don't know, 2011 couldn't have really been a worse situation for James. They got all the way to the finals, where they were definitely favorites to beat a Mavericks team nobody was even paying attention to until they swept the Lakers. Then he proceeded to mock Dirk being sick and averaged less points than both Wade and Bosh. But those were his teammates. The real problems start when you open up the basketball Bible and see that he was even outscored by Jason Terry, and he was slightly less efficient as well. For those of you sucking your teeth in the back, yes, I'm gonna be petty about that 0.2 of a point, because it was Jason fucking Terry, a role player, a 33-year-old role player who had no business being touted as the guy LeBron needed to stop. And the biggest problems are what the tape shows. Maybe we would have been able to let this go if it stopped at the numbers, but what the tape shows can't be changed. It can't be spun, twisted, or justified like a lot of these stats. Roll the clip.
16th year with the organization. He started as a video coordinator. Very nice move.
Oh! I never seen that. I didn't know Jason could get up till just now. I didn't know he could get up.
The organization. He started as a video coordinator. Very. Even if you don't get along, there comes a point where you got to.
Oh my gosh! Let me see that.
This veteran Mavericks team always confident they can come back. Terry shot early. Just
When I was a kid, seeing Jason Terry score, I just saw his threes. I didn't see that dunk. I didn't see him pulling up off the dribble. Like, these type of things. It's new. I got to rewatch the series. All I knew was that LeBron was not doing good, and this dude was going crazy, and Dirk. That's all I remember from it. I wasn't too into basketball at the time. I didn't know the whole season. I just knew the finals. That's it. Just like how there's certain football fans who's not really a fan of football like that, but they'll watch the Super Bowl. You feel me? It was like that up until I got to about 15, and I started studying the game and started watching every single game and knowing every single game. At that time, when I was 11, again, I liked basketball, the sport of it, but I wasn't a fan of the players and the numbers. And I wasn't that much of a fan of it. I have friends who were, but I wasn't. So I didn't know what an MVP was. I didn't know what an MIP was, most improved player. I didn't know what was a 3-second violation. I didn't know what it means off the dribble pull up. I didn't understand the terminology. A tight curl, a flare, all these screen terminologies. All I knew was score, prevent the other player from scoring. That's all I knew at the time. And I just know that Jason Terry was shooting lights out. Dirk Nowitzki, shooting lights out. I didn't know what Dirk Nowitzki's name was at the time. I just knew that long-haired dude was shooting lights out. All I knew was LeBron and Dwayne Wade. I don't think I knew Chris Bosh at the time. Like that. I just knew LeBron, Dwayne Wade. Mostly LeBron. I knew Miami Heat, the name of the team, but I don't know Miami Heat. I don't know the players in it. I just know the color of the team and jerseys and all that stuff. So I did not know that Jason Terry was doing all this type of stuff. Dunking on LeBron and stuff. I knew LeBron did bad. So it's not like I gotta be watching to see how bad LeBron did. I just need to see how good Jason Terry was in this series. You know what I'm saying? Oh my. Bro, he's going by him.
James back on Terry. One dribble. Pull up. Puts it in.
Shot.
Extraordinary tonight. 56 for Miami. 56 for Dallas. Terry wide open for three.
See, that's what I would see. This pull-ups. This set jumper. You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh.
Good ball shot line to 5. Terry the drive out to Kidd. Kidd for 3. It's good. Nowitzki wants the ball. Has him again. Excellent ball drive. Terry a long 3. Jason Terry.
Dang.
Away, throws it ahead to Terry. James is back. Terry jump shot is good. I say, can you give me 14, 15 minutes? Because this is what you dreamed of.
Wow.
Do yourself a favor if you're a LeBron fan. When 2011 comes up in a GOAT conversation, do what Nick Wright did and just take the L. If he can do it, you definitely can.
That's fact.
I had a fan on Twitter once try to convince me that this actually wasn't a bad series for James because he averaged 18, 7, and 6. Well, on top of the fact that those just weren't good numbers for a prime LeBron James in the finals, that just shows you didn't actually watch the series.
That's facts.
His refusal to take charge on offense, the bad plays at crucial moments, and him getting beat off the dribble by Jason Terry time and time again says everything that needs to be said about that series. Also, this was at a time when LeBron James was being touted as a defensive stopper. The guy everyone credited with shutting down MVP roles just a few weeks before this series started. The reason I went in depth on this case is because it matters in this conversation. Looking at the whole body of work, considering I've already showed you Michael's personal resume beats LeBron's pretty easily, when you start digging into their postseason performances, the good and the bad on the biggest stages matters. I get it, rings can't be the only thing used to compare a player because it takes a team to win them. No championship team in history was just one man with no supporting cast, but on the flip side of that, bro, some players are a lot more important to their team's success than others, and those are the players rings really make a difference for. Comparing Steve Kerr, the player, to Russell Westbrook and using rings in the argument is stupid. Russell is a once-in-a-generation talent. Steve Kerr hit three-pointers sometimes. Rings have no bearing on that conversation whatsoever. LeBron and Jordan are two franchise.
I was checking to see if we're still recording.
Once-in-a-lifetime players that were each the face of the league. Rings aren't the only comparison for them, but when comparing their bodies of work, rings will carry weight. And especially when one of these guys could have had 4 had he have not crumbled on that stage. So when you compare LeBron and Jordan, two of the greatest players to ever touch a basketball, you can't just say you're not going to count the times they made it to the biggest stages because it was a team accomplishment. In the words of Chris Smoove, how do you compare two products by omitting important features? You don't. Michael Jordan won his first 3 championships with one all-star caliber player. Go look at the rosters. As a matter of fact, for any of Jordan's 6 championships, the only players to actually make the all-star team in any given year was either him or Pippen. But again, go look at the first 3 rosters. From 91 to 93, that was their three-peat roster. None of these guys outside of Pippen were all-star caliber players. Horace Grant made one all-star team in his entire career, and that was in 1994 when Jordan left. Bill Cartwright made one All-Star team in 1980. That was almost 10 entire years before he even joined the Chicago Bulls. I'm not trying to disrespect these players' careers, but with all due respect, these guys were not making up some fucking super team that was claiming they were going to win 8 championships. No matter who likes it.
That's all I was saying about the whole Miami Heat joint, man. It's like Miami Heat won 2 championships, but compared to the expectations given, it wasn't too much of a success, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and that's stated by the players. They would have more than 2 championships. By LeBron. To be specific.
Who doesn't?
Keeping this
Michael
stack
Jordan
stack.
is still 6-0, and he showed up every single time his team got to the big stage. There is no story about a role player consistently blowing by Jordan. There's no story about an 8-point game in a pivotal part of a series. There's no story about whether his averages in a series that he lost in 5 games were during garbage time or not. And finally, there is no story about Jordan's teams winning a 7-game series where they were the underdogs. Do you know why his teams were never underdogs? I'll give you a hint.
MJ. Oh, he did it! And Michael, here it is again. Oh, whose game is it? It's Michael Jordan.
The balls he does. Here's Jordan. He blows by Pearson, jammed it down.
What I said in the last video that LeBron Jordan, if y'all seen the intro of it, I talked about my perspective on the GOAT talk, the GOAT conversation, how people base the GOAT on different things, whether it's individual accolades or individual accolades with team accolades or just championships by itself. You know what I'm saying? The different perspectives. But if I were to go for the best basketball player, I just strictly mean without the stats, without the numbers, without the accolades, without the team accomplishments, individual accomplishments, just the dude playing basketball. The best basketball player, just like eye test, you know what I'm saying? Michael Jordan is the best basketball player ever. And if I were to pick the second person, I got Kobe. If I were to go off of my own perspective, just off of my own perspective, then yes, I'll have Michael Jordan as the GOAT, right? But if I'm speaking from a, just like, I guess, an overall worldly view of how the overall, you know, of all the basketball fans, I can't speak for them because they got different GOATs. It's different. Their perspective on what a GOAT means to them is different from mine to yours, right? But if I were to go off of my perspective, I have MJ's to go because of what he did with his team, but also what he did himself. If I'm gonna go off of that, then yes, I'll say Michael Jordan's to go. Jeez.
Michael Jordan. To Michael, caught up one hand from 50 off the board. Talk about an athlete. What is Jordan? The left-handed jam from Jordan. Spectacular move by Michael. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship, and it's their 2nd three-peat.
That's it. That's it. All right. Wow. To me, what LeBron did in Cleveland, what LeBron did against the Warriors in 2016, one of the best accomplishments of all time. Now, I understand LeBron's feelings when winning that because, like I said at the end of that LeBron versus Jordan video, if I'm LeBron James or if I personally carry a team, the pressure on my back, on my shoulders, the pressure since coming out of high school, 18 years old, people expected me to do great things from an 18-year-old kid. Have a team that's just like, can't do nothing with that team, bro. The amount of pressure still, the amount of stress still, LeBron's not great. LeBron's, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to win a championship. I'm trying to get through this, man. And the Celtics, dog, this Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Rajon Rondo Celtics. I can't guard all 4 of them at the same time. I have to rely on my teammates to do that. So I decided to leave. And I go to Miami. I boom, 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 right? Lost against the Mavs, you know. But I beat Spurs. I beat OKC. I lose against the Spurs, and at the time you're like, you know what? I think it's time to make amends and go to the team that I was drafted to and was dedicated to and try to seal this deal. The year I get back to the Cavs, I take them to the finals. We lose that one. The next year, we're down 3-1. No one's expecting me to come back. No one's expecting the Cavaliers to do the unimaginable. We come back from a 3-1 deficit and win against a 73-9 Warriors team. All the blood, sweat, and tears, all the pressure, all the work put in to get Cleveland their first ever championship. I would feel like the greatest of all time too. And that's not necessarily me saying that I'm greater than Jordan, that I'm greater than Kareem. I'm just talking about the moment. I'm the greatest because that was a long fought war. Many battles lost. We won, bro. For Cleveland. If I'm Kevin Durant, I feel like I'm the best basketball player in the world, no matter what era I'm in. I feel like I'm the best. It's a mentality, bro. You know, those are the type of people that stay in the books, in my opinion. So, like a year ago, probably a year and a half ago, I had LeBron. I was reacting to LeBron James highlights, and I titled it, "LeBron is my GOAT." So I understand people say they got GOATs, you know, because by GOATs they're going by the greatest in each generation, each era. GOATs. So my favorite GOAT will be LeBron. You know what I'm saying? We're going by eras. GOATs in each eras. But the GOAT, greatest of all time, I would go with Michael Jordan. There you have it. I said it. And I would just dodge that conversation because I still want to give other players their flowers, man. Will Chamberlain, Bill Russell, Larry Bird. I want to give them their flowers, man. It ain't like Bill Russell walked in the court and got 11 championships, man. That's civil rights happening back then, man. He's a black dude looking to be successful. Like that ain't no walk in the park. You know what I'm saying? Tough times. There's a lot of factors that goes into these different eras. We can't just put asterisks on people's accomplishments. You know, give flowers to Larry Bird. In my opinion, the toughest basketball player of all time. Give Magic Johnson his flowers. Give LeBron James his flowers. Like, I give people their flowers. That's why I don't really talk about the GOAT conversation, because I feel like that's taken away from other legends. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't be talking about it like that, you know? But I can also understand that you can still say who the GOAT is from your meaning of it and still respect others. There you go. So yeah, man, that's gonna do it. I hope I was unbiased. I hope I gave both credit. I feel like I did from LeBron's standpoint and Michael's standpoint. But this is it. I'm not gonna watch no more Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. It's the last debate. So we all selling it right here. We're selling it right here. At least for me, I'm selling it right here. Maybe we'll talk again when LeBron James' career is over, when he retires. But I still feel that Michael Jordan would still be the best by that time. But we'll see. So, yeah, hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like. There's a lot of help to the channel. Gets us more exposed into the YouTube world, more exposure. Gets us out there, you know, for other people to join the fam. Hit me up in the comments, man. What y'all think? If you want to pick who's your favorite generational player, who is that? Who's your favorite player from whichever era that was? Who's your favorite from each era? If I were to pick a favorite player from an era, LeBron James. But yeah, the GOAT, Michael Jordan. Hope y'all stay well. Stay healthy, stay blessed. Like us very much, man. I'm out. Peace. Woo!